All right, hello. Hi, I'm Rick Miller. I'm the Director of Elementary Teaching, Learning, and Equity for the Sun Prairie Area School District. I'm here with an amazing team of educators, and we're recording this video for the school board for March 11th as a companion to a situation report and executive summary that we're providing to the school board. Our team today, through this video recording, will share with you the journey that we've been on since 2021 in order to improve outcomes in literacy. And a big part of that has been learning about the science of reading and learning about new instructional resources that ultimately brings us to you with this information, along with a recommendation for what resource we should adopt. Um, at the school board meeting on March 11th, we'll be asking for your support in approving an expenditure that exceeds $250,000 in order uh, to purchase the resource that this team and a larger group of people are recommending. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Deb Larson.
Thank you, Rick. So it has been my honor to work over the past 2 years with over 50 educators on a variety of teams to lead this literacy work. And the work that we have been doing has always been grounded in our district's literacy vision statement, which is, we believe literacy to be a basic human right through which every student can realize their full potential. The steps we've taken in this journey are headed toward all students meeting or exceeding expectations in reading achievement. So our theory of action for this process is, if we review available research-based instructional resources grounded in the science of reading, and we select the resources that give our educators the highest confidence, and we support educators to implement the curriculum with integrity, and we partner with our community in the support of learning to read, then student achievement in reading for all students will meet, exceed the expectations of our community. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jill to share some background regarding our journey.
Thanks, Deb. I'm Jill Schmolt, and I'm a learning strategist at Westside Elementary. And you can see here, this is just a snippet of the journey that we have been on over the last 2 years. If you click within the executive summary, you will see a full timeline, but this is just kind of a quick snapshot. So in the 2023-24 school year, we implemented Haggerty and UFly. So we needed to do something while we were still reviewing the curriculum. And so teachers have been really excited to deliver UFly, which is a systematic phonics program, and then Haggerty, which is a systematic phonemic awareness program. And that has really been successful this year. And again, as I said, this gave the committees more time to really dig deep in the research and just studying the resources, so we would select the right one. And then the next slide, educators who served on the ELA committee and the ELIT committee, it's been really powerful. 47 staff members from multiple roles within our district were a part of the decision making. All 10 sites were represented, 6 different teams, and this sat over 5,300 hours of learning and leading literacy work. I think, speaking as a member on this team, just the 2 years of really deep diving has really given me a different perspective on the science of reading. And I think that has really energized staffs, across the district. So the educators who served on this committee met this week, and we reached a consensus, and we have selected Amplify CKLA as our new resource for the next year. And I'm going to hand it over to Kirsten, who's going to give us a little more information about how we review the resources.
Thanks, Jill. I'm Kirsten Donaldson, and I am a second grade teacher at Horizon School. I also have been a part of the ELA steering committee. And in addition to that, I have been a part of a group that was doing a book study using the resource, The Knowledge Gap. So we initially reviewed the criteria that we wanted to use as we were evaluating the many programs of which we could have chosen. And we came up with a gated process. There is a link to this in the executive summary, and you can see it here on the slides, that we had gates that as we looked at different resources, we were using those as lenses to look through to see strengths, weaknesses, and to see how they matched with what we knew to be important and what we wanted to have in a curricular tool that we chose. So up at the top, they are gated 1 through 5. And we looked through those lenses. The bottom portion were add-ons that we knew to be important and wanting to find opportunities in our resources that we were looking at, but they weren't officially part of those gates up at the top. So our gates included the EdReports Act 20, the new early literacy law, research-based, knowledge-based, using the Great Lakes Equity Tool, and comprehensive 4K to 5. So in our initial review, we took a lot of information from EdReports. We talked to other educators, and we came up with a set of 10 instructional materials to look at. And then using this gated process, we were able to narrow it down to 5. And that included the American Reading Company, Amplify CKLA, EL Education, Into Reading, and Wonders. I'm going to turn it over to Derek to move along with our journey.
Thanks, Kristen. I'm Derek Johnsrud, and I am a CrossCat teacher at Token Springs Elementary. There were curriculum vendors that came to show their materials, both physical and digital, to a team of nearly 30 educators. Through this process, we eliminated one of the resources and decided that we needed to continue to study the remaining resources by digging deeper into the units. And you can find more links to that in the executive summary. And now I'm going to pass it over to Elizabeth to talk about the curriculum deep dives.
Thanks, Derek. I'm Elizabeth Berry. I'm the instructional coach at Creekside. So we took full days to really dig into the remaining 4 curriculum resources that we were considering adopting for the district. And we looked closer again at the Great Lakes Equity Tool. And then we also used a literacy curriculum evaluation tool. And we broke into grade level teams and really looked closely at least 2 units in each of the curricular resources and looked at the additional resources and books and the online platforms and things to really try to decide what were the benefits of these programs and what were some of the things that maybe we were a little bit concerned about. And if you want more details of all of those dives, you can click on the link in the executive summary. But overall, we learned that all 4 resources provided strong foundational skills. Some of the resources seemed like they would be a bit easier for teachers to use. Some of the resources were stronger with their knowledge-based curriculums than others. And we also found that all of the resources were problematic in some ways regarding cultural responsiveness. And then we decided we needed to dig in deeper with these 4. And based on what we found, we created a set of questions. And I am going to turn it over to Amanda to tell you about what we did next.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm Amanda Zahn, first grade teacher at CH Bird, and I was a part of a group that over the course of 5 weeks, 11 of us visited 4 different school systems to observe each resource in action and speak to students, staff, and administrators. It was after these visits that Amplify CKLA really stood out for us. It has the strongest knowledge base and foundational skills aligned to the science of reading. You can refer to the executive summary for a link of our site visit summary for more information. And I'll turn it back to Deb for more information on the foundational skills.
Thank you, Amanda. So as Amanda shared, Amplify CKLA has very strong foundational skills instruction. And the visual that you see here on the slide deck shows the scope and sequence and the progression of those foundational skills from kindergarten through 5th grade. So I'll just give you a few moments to take a look at that. Amplify CKLA has a skills-based component, and it also has a knowledge-based component, which we felt was very, very important, and was also one of the reasons why we picked this resource as a steering committee. Because of how much learning we had done around the science of reading, we felt as though this program really matched the learning that we had engaged in and would be the best for our students. So like I said, other than the phonics block for CKLA, there is also a knowledge block. And we did some in-depth learning around the knowledge gap from Natalie Wexler as part of our early literacy implementation team. And as this visual will show you, there are anywhere from 7 to 12 knowledge units across the 5 grade levels. And so we felt as though Amplify CKLA kind of rose to the top when we looked at the 4 remaining resources because of the variety of science and social studies topics that this curricular resource would provide to our students. All right, so earlier, Kirsten had discussed the gates in the presentation and how Act 20 was one of those gates that we considered as we analyzed each of the resources. And that meaning that it was closely aligned to the science of reading. So Amplify CKLA provides systematic and explicit instruction in all of these areas that you see listed on the slide: phonological awareness, phonics, background knowledge, oral language development, vocabulary building, instruction in writing, instruction in comprehension, and reading fluency. So all parts of Scarborough's reading rope are represented in this curricular resource. In addition to meeting and exceeding the Act 20 expectations or requirements, Amplify CKLA has shown to get excellent results in student outcomes. So the information on this slide has been taken from the Efficacy and Impact Report, which is linked into the executive summary. And these graphs show improved student outcomes from 3 different districts across the country. And these districts are also diverse systems. And these results are following the implementation of Amplify CKLA. So over here on the far left, you can see the school district of Oak Harbor, Washington. And it is important to note that this school district has a 40% minority demographic and 28% of students are economically disadvantaged. They have a population of about 6,000 students in the district and 12 schools. Okay. Down here at the bottom, this is West Jefferson School District, and it has about a 20% minority and 17% of students are economically disadvantaged. So you can see the trend for students across multiple years following the implementation of Amplify CKLA. Up here on the top, we have Allen Parish School District, which has a 30% minority demographic and 46% of the population is economically disadvantaged. And so these are pretty compelling data points that we feel were important to share with you as well. And now I'm going to turn it over to Rick to summarize and share our next steps.
Thank you, Deb. Our team has just taken you on a very brief, high-level overview of what we've been working on the past couple of years. And I really do encourage school board members to go back. As team members have highlighted, there are links with deep and large amounts of information throughout that executive summary that will provide you much more information. With that, It is our request of the school board to approve this purchase, which exceeds $250,000, which is the threshold set by board policy. I'm not stating the exact amount in this recording today because we're still in negotiations with Amplify CKLA to determine that final amount that will be shared with you in the days coming up to the school board meeting on March 11th. It's important to note that the funds that will be used to purchase these resources have already been allocated within the 2023-2024 school year curriculum adoption budget for teaching, learning, and equity. We did that understanding that this work had been behind schedule already because of COVID and because of the bridge year that we provided in order to have more time to study. And we knew we needed to get going during this school year with professional development for our educators so that they're not first seeing the resources or learning about them when they come back to work in August. We want to really give our educators every opportunity to dig into these resources, starting with professional development in April. We will pursue reimbursement for as much of that cost that we incur as possible with the Wisconsin DPI as referenced by Act 20. And it's important to note that the resource that we have selected through our own independent process was also recommended by both the Wisconsin DPI and their select committee to the Joint Finance Committee for approval. So I have reasonable confidence that we're on the right path for that reimbursement, while I can't provide any guarantees as of the date that this is being recorded. With that, our keywords at key times provided were developed following our February 28th English Language Arts Steering Committee. It was a really special moment for me personally as a leader to be in a room where nearly 40 educators representing all roles and schools in our system were able to reach consensus about what is the best resource to get better outcomes for kids in Sun Prairie. And we were able to accomplish that on February 28th. And I'm extraordinarily grateful for the unbelievable professionals that I have the privilege of working with. So pending your approval, we're prepared to immediately acquire these resources and to get going with that professional development on April 3rd. And with that, that's going to round out our presentation for today. We look forward to spending some time with you on March 11th at the school board meeting. We've invited not only this wonderful team that's a part of this recording today, but also all of our English Language Arts Steering Committee members to come and join and see what the conversation's all about. We look forward to engaging with you on that day. Thank you.